Hi, everybody. I'm Dave, and
I'm Alec.
that did not go smoothly at all. I didn't think it would.
We're going to get it one day.
Nah, let's not. Let's just keep doing this. And we're here to talk about zombies.
Yes, we
Zombies.
are.
Zombie January is here. It has been,
hmm
I would actually call it fantastic. It has been fantastic, Zombie January. I love it.
hmm
Um,
hmm Yeah, this
and
should be
I
a
want
tradition.
more of
Yeah,
Zombie January.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
make it
I don't
Zombie
know.
February too, shall we?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are some horror movies coming out in February. Notably, I think Scream 7, but I don't think that'll be zombies. Man, would it be a great twist, though. I
Fun
would love it.
twist.
You know?
Actually,
Actually,
it's the original killer who's now a zombie.
who's now a zombie. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty fucking tired of the Scream sequels. If they pulled that, I would be like, it's kind of back for me. I'm in. I'm in.
Well, I don't know. Should we do a uh, a Scream episode? That could be actually a really fun episode.
A Scream, just on Scream 7, or like, are you talking about do a Predator type thing where we watch all the Scream movies and talk about them?
The first
Uh,
one or the
the,
second one. The second one.
the
I want to watch all the Scream movies.
all the Scream movies. Oh man, I have so many thoughts on Scream 5 alone. That I genuinely I feel like I'm in the minority of people because I like Scream 4 and really dislike Scream 5, and I feel like most people are flipped. But whatever. We're stepping on a future pod. We're stepping on a future pod. I'm willing to do it. I just feel like it's going to be a long one, and I'm going to go on a rant at some point in the middle of that episode. And I don't know if people are going to like it. I don't know if
I
people are
mean,
going to
I
like
don't
it.
think people like our Predator takes, but we still put it out into the world. So
We did put it out into the world. I'm proud of our Predator takes. I'm proud of us for being brave about our Predator truth, about the reality of the Predator franchise. Anyway, so it's Zombie January. What we mean by Zombie January is obviously we have the Bone Temple. We have the new 28 years later release. That is the big release of the month. I don't think anything
oh
else
yeah.
really comes close. For this month. However, we did also like right at the beginning of January, we got another zombie movie called We Bury the Dead, starring Daisy Ridley, an Australian, I believe, Australian movie.
It isn't.
Um,
I mean, it's set in Australia. I don't know who made it, but
I think some of the credits beforehand said that it was like one of those like Screen something Australia. I'll look it up before we get to that part of the pod. But we have two zombie movies basically in January, so this is Zombie January. Um, so we're gonna jump in to I believe Bone Temple first, and then We Bury the Dead. But first, I believe Dave, do you had something you wanted to recommend before we get into the movies today?
I do, and this is probably a shocker to no one. It's a comic book. So if you are interested in zombies, this is a brand new comic book series that has just come out. It's called Everything Dead and Dying. It is
Hmm?
phenomenal. So the main character is a live person, and he is living in a zombie apocalypse. But he has figured out that if you just feed the zombies, they're docile, they're good. And so he's living in this small town community where he is just feeding all of the zombies just like live cow meat, live whatever, and just living a normal life with them around. Um, and then the first episode is a bunch of other people find him. And that's or the end of the first issue. And that's the first issue. Um, we're gonna talk a little bit later about We Bury the Dead and how I think it's really cool that they're like creating a zombie world where zombies obviously have different desires and different wants and different needs, and I think this really goes well with that idea. It's a really cool comic book. It is uh, written by Trade Brumble and art is by Jacob Phillips. It's really clever. It's really beautifully drawn. The colors are immaculate. Um, cannot recommend enough Everything Dead and Dying. If you like zombies, it's a really cool book. Check it out. The first, I think the first three issues are currently out. The trade paperback is coming out in May. So
Nice.
May 2026, if you are interested in zombies, buy that book.
Yeah, as someone who usually waits for the trade paperbacks, I very much appreciate that. Something to look forward to in May. Because I will probably not be buying the individual issues. It's just not how I
Yeah.
tend to end up getting comic books. But I mean, that sounds like a really cool zombie, concept. And yeah, very fitting recommends. Consider really all of these movies that have come out recently, 28 years later, Bone Temple, We Bury the Dead. They all have very strong zombie concepts. I feel like in general, lately, at the very least, zombies have been getting more innovation, you know, in terms of like
And
world building,
and I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think like because like 28 years later is I think at least the first time I can think of we have a zombie movie that's set years and years and years after the zombie apocalypse, right? Like even The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead only takes place within a few years after the original zombie apocalypse,
Totally.
which is another amazing comic book that it's much better than the TV series. I enjoy both very much. The comic far superior than the TV series. Um, and another big recommends that everyone should check out. That's kind of done and
Yeah,
dusted.
for sure.
Uh,
A much more obvious recommends, but still
yeah,
one that like, yeah, if you haven't, do it.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. No, I'm trying to think if there's really been any other movie that has sort of had that general concept. I feel like some of the original Romero movies, I believe maybe like Day of the Dead might be at least several years after the initial sort of like zombie outbreak, but for the most part, you are correct. We're dealing with pretty like, you know, a couple days after or literally during the initial outbreak for the most part. And, that does sort of limit your storytelling possibilities. And I also just sort of think in general, like the zombies as metaphor thing was sort of what people were going for a while. Zombie is metaphor for consumerism in Dawn of the Dead, for example, or like zombie is metaphor for racism and sexism in the original Night of the Living Dead. All these things are sort of there from the beginning of this sort of zombie zeitgeist, but like it feels like we're a little while before now. If a zombie movie comes out, it's kind of more just like having a fun time with zombies. It's more like a Train to Busan,
Yeah.
or which is like a fun, good movie. But I don't know that they're really doing like any metaphorical stuff in
I don't think
terms.
Train to Busan is trying to say something deeper about society. It's
No,
just a survival movie. Um,
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Or you have some. There was also another one that was a zombie film more recently called The Sadness. That was more just like a splatter gore fest kind of thing with zombie. They're just sort of, and to me that gets a little tired. Like to me, I
yeah, yeah.
prefer I prefer some intrigue. I prefer some world building rather than just like I don't know. I've seen a guy get his face eaten off a bunch of times now. I don't need it again.
I still
To
want
me,
that though. I still want
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
just
I
don't
want it.
make it the only thing. Just don't make
Yes,
it the only thing.
thank you. I want to see a face eaten off with steaks. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
or something.
With
Anyway,
interesting characters. Yeah.
with interesting characters, with some cool idea behind it. That's a great recommends. I have no recommends. I recommend nothing. Uh, I recommend you stay at home and do nothing. Anyway, no, let's move on to we're not going to start with We Bury the Dead. I think we should start with Bone Temple.
Yeah, we got to
Um,
start with Bone Temple.
yeah, for
The
sure. The much bigger release.
the
So
just it's not often the best movie of the year comes out in January. I think the best movie of the year came out in January. I have a hard time seeing a bunch of movies be better than this year. And if there are, it's going to be an amazing movie year for me. I'm going to be so happy.
And we talked a little bit in our end of the year thing about how like 2025 for us personally felt like a little bit of a weaker movie year. 2026 could be a much stronger movie year. If this is how we're starting out, who knows? I don't really think there was anything in January last year that came out and like blew us away. I mean, I think the first thing that we even thought was like pretty cool and interesting was Companion, and that was, I want to say, February, March, maybe.
Well, okay, Black
So
Bag definitely came out in February. Um,
yes, Black Bag, that was the first. I actually, yeah, I genuinely remember like making that 2025 list, and Black Bag, we both saw it, and we were both just like, that's number one on the list of everything so far, like for sure.
everything so far of the 5 movies I've seen this year, Black
That are
Bag, top
not
of the
good.
list. Yeah.
So yeah, man, really, really great to have January start off with a bang like this. Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to just go into like what are things you liked about Bone Temple?
Oh man. Okay, so I think we need to start with the conversation around Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Who, like, I would even argue the co-lead of the film with Ralph Fiennes,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Jimmy Crystal, played by Jack O'Connell. Um,
By the way, just a side note here, because I had to look this up. That dude's name apparently is an old English pronunciation, and it's apparently Rafe Fiennes. Instead, it's not
oh,
Ralph, which I always thought. And even when people were saying Ray Fiennes, I thought they were saying like Ray, Ray, and then his last name, like they were giving him a nickname. Like, yeah, sometimes I just call him Ray because like we're cool like that or something. No, apparently his name is actually pronounced Rafe, as in almost like Rafe, Fiennes. So I learned that 2 days ago.
oh, I think I knew
So
that. I think I just was reading his name, and
you were just
it
reading
just
it
came out.
and just
But
naturally read Ralph because why
yeah,
would it be Rafe? I don't know,
yeah,
man. I in a way I'm almost like this is an issue. This feels like one moment where I'm like, dude, just get a stage name. I don't want to don't confuse everyone, with your
yeah.
weird old English pronunciation. Just choose a stage name. I don't know. Change your name to Ray. That would be fine. Then everyone would accidentally say your name right
This
all the
is
time.
this is the weirdest colonial conversation to have about an old English actor.
Yep. This is America talking. We don't give a fuck about your old English name. Your name is Ray from now on.
Your name is what we say it is.
It's what we say it is. It's Ray Fines. I don't care. But no, apparently Rafe Fines. Anyway, go on, please. Sorry. I just had to throw that in because I was like, I had no clue. I'd never known that for years and years. So
So,
please.
so,
Co-lead is Jimmy. Is what I think where we were.
yeah, I would call him that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he gets equal amounts of screen time as a Dr. Ian. But like, I think he was such a good, interesting antagonist for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I
Absolutely.
I didn't see it coming from
That
like
that he would
I
be the
thought this
antagonist.
I thought he was going to be the protagonist.
I
Um,
thought so as well, which also is a
coming
bit of an American thing. But please,
coming off
yeah,
of the um, Jimmy and the Teletubby Warriors just fought and saved this kid. I thought he was going to be this crazy, eccentric, awesome fighter of zombies
mm-hmm,
and was a good guy, right?
mm-hmm,
And immediately it turns. And immediately it turns on its head as if it's the next scene of the movie to be like, no, this guy's fucked up.
yeah,
And he's
yeah.
insane.
That
Um,
that first
and
that first
that
scene
scene
just in the pool.
blew me away.
Oh,
Like strap in, let's go.
yeah. I don't. That's one of those things where, just as a Nia DaCosta, I really like as a director. I think she has such like incredible range too. Like her movies being, she did an indie that I'd never saw, but she did Candyman, which I loved, and then she did the Marvels, which clearly like she is. That's not her movie. That's a Marvel movie. I think she's spoken out about like that didn't go the way she wanted it to. So I'm just leaving that off of her filmography, frankly. But then she did Hedda, which was also very good, like very in a very different movie. And even Candyman and this, both being horror movies, are very different, like very differently filmed, very different subject matter, all of that kind of stuff. But I don't know how she filmed that scene in a way that felt as like brutal and fucked up to me as it was. Because I've seen a lot of blood and gore in my life. I've seen a lot of horror movies, and somehow that moment when our hero Spike basically after getting sort of maybe it's like the feeling of it not feeling so serious because the other kid is like not taking it seriously, maybe it's a tension thing and release, I don't know, but when he stabs that kid in the leg and he just bleeds out, I like had a visceral like cringe almost like ugh kind of
Oh,
reaction to it.
I jumped in my seat.
Yeah,
Like I definitely had like a whoa, like didn't
yeah,
expect that. You know, um, if
very
anything, I
effective.
expected to be there to be uh, like they're not, and because of the history of 28 Days Later and like the cold open
Hmm.
of it, I was like, I also think that the series has taught us, hey, this kid could die right now, right? Like this kid
Yeah,
could die, and we're transitioning to a new protagonist in the very first scene, and that was really cool. Not something that Nia did, I don't think, but something that um
Alex
like
Garland, I'm assuming the screenwriter.
just
Or
all no, but like the screenwriters, the directors, all three movies, Garland, even 28 Weeks Later, it starts on what you who you think will be a protagonist, and then they die.
yeah,
And I don't
yeah,
even
his
love that
or
movie.
yeah, but it's like his whole family dies, and then you're kind of left with him as like one of the protagonists, but like he's kind of a shitty, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
sort of
yeah.
protagonist or something. Yeah, yeah, for sure,
But like
for
with these
sure.
cold opens, you don't know who the protagonist is going to be in the next film. You don't
Hmm.
know that until a half hour later. And so if they were like, we're gonna take the old protagonist and gone, I wouldn't have been shocked. And I think that leads to how good this series has been, how good 28 Days Later and specifically 28 Years Later was to make me go, oh man, I have no idea how this is going to end. And I wouldn't be shocked if Spike's dead,
Right,
right?
right.
Like that's such a fun way to start the movie.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, and yeah, that turn immediately. Also like you sort of alluded to, there is history in this franchise of having cold opens that are sort of like slow. The first one has this sort of slow, steady build to like a big zombie chase. The second one kind of does the same thing, and yeah, the third one, 28 years later, also kind of does the same thing where it's again with Jimmy's cold open. So every one of
Yeah.
those has that history of just being like, we are immediately into zombies are here. So
Yeah.
even if it wasn't this other kid is gonna kill him, I actually in the back of my head was sort of thinking like they're trapped in this pool. This is a cool set piece to have like zombies suddenly come in. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's sort of the history that the franchise has taught me to like expect is like big zombie set piece right up front. So again, when that didn't happen, I was like, fuck, and it really sets the stakes for this to be like this is not even really a zombie movie as much as it is like a movie about the fucking brutality of humans in this world.
Oh, it's yes, it's 100% about it's like honestly, I think it's perfectly designed to be half a movie about Jimmy's um Jimmy's brutality and half a movie about Dr. Ian's caring.
Hmm.
And then they come together perfectly at the end. And like
Yeah.
I think I think just everything about Jimmy's character is like this fly by the sweet seat of his pants 20-year-old who, I
Hmm.
mean, I guess 30-year-old based on the number that they're giving me. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. He was 8 when it
just this,
happened, so 34 he should be.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
just a fly by the seat of his pants idiot who somehow got these people to follow him, but he has no plan except for like, if you believe in God, God's abandoned us,
Yeah.
and that's why I worship the devil. Like that's his only plan.
Yeah.
And he just has this confidence to move throughout this world. And they all do, really. Like all of the fingers have this confidence to move throughout the world that they're not gonna, like a zombie's not gonna get them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That scene with the
like
I forget the actress's name. I think she reveals that her name is Kelly at the end, one of the Jimmys, where she's just walking through a field and a zombie's running at her, and she just calmly does like a fucking ninja rolls, like slits his throat and like ninja rolls out of the way and keeps walking. Perfect.
yeah,
Perfect. No
awesome,
notes. Sick.
awesome.
Way
Just
way to just
way
tell
to
us
set up a
visually.
character
Yeah. Yeah.
completely. Like just I now know everything I need to know about this character. This character is the most badass of the
Mm-hmm.
fingers.
Mm-hmm.
She like she could do anything. Um, Probably could take Jimmy out if she wanted to, but he's got this control over all of them,
Yeah.
and has convinced all of them that this is the only way to have a good life is to be this crazy.
Right.
Um,
And to follow Satan and that he is the son of Satan. And
yeah.
it is a perfect, it's an amazing performance because of the fact that you definitely see both traces in him of, I think, being aware of like it being a little bullshit, but also like I think he also buys it at the same time. Like I think he is a little deluded on his own. I think there are moments where he see, especially near the end of his character arc. Obviously, full spoiler territory, but him being crucified upside down, seeing the Alpha come towards him and imagining it as Satan, and basically saying
Yeah.
like, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" Like he definitely does actually worship the devil. It's a little unclear whether he truly believes that he is actually the son
Oh,
of
no,
Satan or not.
I think the conversation with Ian about like, hey, we're gonna set this up so that they shut the fuck up and fall in line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think he knows he's
Not the son, but
he's
at the
making
same
this up as
time,
he
he
goes along.
he does he does I think actually have voices in his head that he believes are Satan talking to him.
Oh,
I think
I
they're
think 100% that is true.
yeah,
I think he
which is why it's
has
a
some serious mental
little
health issues
yes.
and is calling them Satan. I don't
Yeah.
think he actually believes he's the son of Satan because if he did, he
Hmm.
wouldn't have had to set up the whole ending.
The whole incredible sequence of
Oh,
Dr. Ian dancing. But I do, before we get to that though, I do just want to say, so I think this is something where we had a distinctly American experience of this, where we did both think that this would be a protagonist, and then it turned out to be an antagonist. And I don't know if you know anything about this, like character and the inspiration for it, but I did do like a little research on it. And I think for British people, they knew coming in that Jimmy would be the antagonist here, because this is actually a the basis of this Jimmy character is a radio DJ um, in Britain whose name was Jimmy Savile, I think Jimmy Savile, I'm not sure. But Jimmy Savile was basically like a beloved radio personality, and you can like look up a picture of him, like that blonde hair, all of that is like literally it's the wigs that they're wearing are these like Jimmy Savile sort of things. So he was a sort of beloved radio personality, very like goofy personality, who right around 2003. So in this timeline, this would be post when the zombie apocalypse happened. So this information wouldn't have come out. Uh, it was revealed that he was a horrifying, um, uh, uh, basically sexual abuser of children. That he had been a pedophile, that he had been sexually abusing people, that he had been, harming people. And basically, so like this character is supposed to represent in a way this like break of trust, of like this sort of national sort of trust in a person who appears to be, just a very like goofy, wholesome, silly guy who loves, rock and roll and playing music, and then turns out to be a monster. So that, like, knowing that as well, that really deepens my appreciation for like the Jimmy character and like the Jimmy's lore. I don't think in real life he was a Satanist. I think that's but it doesn't really matter. The point is just like of him sort of representing the evil of humanity and how it can sort of easily hide. You know, especially when it's presented with a sort of like on its face sort of silly looking thing, which is again perfect. That scene where you're suddenly with these new people you've never seen before and they're running away from zombies and they come home and the Jimmies are in their kitchen and it's just the main Jimmy Crystal, talking about the Teletubbies and them doing a Teletubby dance, and it very quickly heightens to, are you going to leave? And they say, yes, but not before we kill you.
Yeah.
Like,
Which
holy
is
shit.
just, and like, oh man, what a fumble. That guy with the pot of boiling water, all he has to do is fucking dump it on someone, and this is all very different and just a miss. Just what a miss.
What a miss. What a miss. That, of course, is followed by the torture scene, which is also, I think, very purposefully, Nia DaCosta is taking this to be, there's a shitload of like style and stylization in the way Danny Boyle directed the initial movie and directed 28 years later. That's gone here. This is just like straightforward brutal. And I think
Oh
that's very
yeah.
purposeful. Because of the fact that, again, we're dealing with like humans doing this to each other, and the horrible like removal of the shirt skinning thing was so bad. My wife actually left the theater. She was just like, I gotta go for a second.
Yeah.
And like,
I don't blame her. Yeah.
I'll just
That
wait.
was a lot.
Yeah, it's the most brutal thing we've seen in any one of these movies. And, they're all zombie movies. There's some pretty fucked up shit. In the 28 years later, the 28 Days Later franchise, but that was by far the worst thing. So yeah, I think all of the Jimmy stuff is like very visceral, very effective, very well done. And then on the other side, the Dr. Ian stuff with our favorite character from the first one, the Alpha, and his giant alpha penis. So glad that he is now like the other main character of this film, Samson, our favorite Alpha. Yeah, no, that was also...
No, wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
Different Alpha, though. Different Alpha.
No, it's the same Alpha.
No, different Alpha. No. Samson is a different Alpha. Yeah, I promise you. Different Alpha. The other Alpha...
Am I forgetting something where the different Alpha, like the other Alpha died at the end of 28 years later or something?
Because he does not have... So, the new Alpha...
Hold on.
I swore there's a second Alpha. Maybe I'm crazy.
No, you know what? I think you might be onto something here. Hold on one second. No, it's the same actor. Yeah.
Same actor.
Is Alpha Samson. in both of
No,
these.
um,
His name
no,
is Alpha Samson in both of these, for sure. It is the same guy.
but
It's the same
there's
Alpha.
no other alpha. There's
No,
no
I don't
other
think so.
alpha. I'm
Uh,
I'm feeling crazy right now because the alpha that is chasing them down looks so different than
in the first one, you mean? Yeah.
yeah, and the first one who's chasing them across the looks so different than Samson.
I think that's
But I guess there
genuinely
is
just a good. I think that's just like a good use of makeup and effects to get across that like there has been a change in Samson. I think this is just a result of how effective the makeup has been. Like they needed him to just be a terrifying fucking tank running at you in the first one, whereas this one is transitioning to him where something where Dr. Ian sees like a glimmer of humanity behind his eyes. And I think they've just done some like subtle stuff with like the makeup effects and shit to make it so that he appears a little less intimidating maybe than he did before. I think that's what's happening. Um, you know, I have not read any behind the scenes stuff to confirm that. I'm just spitballing here. Um, but I do just want to say that performance of that alpha character by Sheila Perry is incredible in both films. I think it is particularly incredible in this film. Um, and I think my favorite sequence of the entire thing is when he goes back to the train.
oh yeah, that was a great scene where he's coming back to humanity and now just getting attacked by basically his horde. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that moment where basically like you're seeing him in the flashback and then it cuts to there's a horde around him and right before he gets attacked, he responds to the flashback by saying I think something like I don't have a ticket. Um man, there are some moments in this that are just like really fantastic writing by Alex Garland as well. I feel like that's one of the best ones. Really all of the Dr. Ian stuff like making him someone that you get to spend more time with and just understand a little bit better as a character. I love all of the dancing. I love all the like the music. That he set up this like old record player. Um, and yeah, pretty
okay,
great
I'm
performance
not
by Ray
crazy.
Fiennes.
There is a
Yes.
second alpha in 28 years later called Berserker.
Oh wow! Did not know that.
Yes.
Had
Okay.
no clue.
So
Okay.
he's the one who had because okay,
Mm.
for better or for worse, I'm just gonna say this because it's us. But the Samson
Mm.
Alpha Dong is
Mm.
is nowhere near the crazy size of Berserker Dong.
This
Like
is how we identify them in the
no,
wild.
they
In the
look
wild,
and they
you
look
see them from afar and you
so
go,
different.
"That one's down to the knee." That's
They
Berserker.
look so different. And like
Mm.
I made a joke earlier of like he had to wear a prosthetic because you can't be naked around kids
Right. Right.
in Britain. So any shot, so they had to just have a prosthetic. And I just wanted to be in the room where somebody showed them a prosthetic and they were like, no, bigger. Like, because
Go
I'm
bigger.
sure that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So now,
and
if this is the
so,
case of there being two different alphas, it is hilarious to now imagine the situation where they would go, "Hey, that one needs to be bigger than this one because this guy's
yeah,
Berserker and this guy's going to be kind
um,
of humanized in the next one."
yeah, because
we
like,
need we need this guy to be scarier and have a bigger dong.
so Berserker was played by a guy named Chris Gregory, who has no other acting
Man,
credits.
it's so I just genuinely, I really should have rewatched 28 Years Later before this in full because I only watched about a half hour. And just to sort of like get my memory jogged a little bit, but apparently not enough because I just completely blacked out this other thing. So much happens in that movie. It really is surprisingly deep, rich text 28 years later. Um, anyway, though, I do think we should just talk about a little bit about the Dr. Ian stuff and the Samson stuff. Do you have any thoughts you wanted to share on that, or sort of like how the Jimmy character interacts with them?
Um, I honestly just think it was so I think it's hysterical that a true test, like a true basis of this movie is drugs keep us together. Uh, just just Samson being a drug addict and being like, drugs? You have
Mm-hmm.
drugs. That felt nice. Drugs?
Felt pretty good. That felt
Uh,
pretty good. Yeah, the first
um,
morphine. I think it's
yeah,
the main ingredient. He says at some point in those darts. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um,
Uh,
and just um, but also just the like when you like, I do think it's saying something that like they're trying to say something of like we are all human, right?
mm-hmm.
Let's strip down the differences. Let's um, we all want to dance, right? Like even this crazy
Mm-hmm.
zombie just wants to feel good.
Yeah,
Um,
he
and
wants
that's
to
the basis
dance.
of
He wants to get high. He wants to stare at the moon while he's super high.
yeah.
You know? Yeah,
But like there is um a core feeling for us of just like of just we all want to feel good, feel positive.
yeah,
Um, and no matter how we get there, that's something we're always striving for. And I think they do a really good job of 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 giving that and like showing that, you know, at the core, like what really like why are the zombies killing? So they feel full,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
right? Like you see the zombie desire
yeah,
throughout this movie, which I really think is interesting. We're gonna talk. I want to talk more about zombie desire when we talk about We Bury the Dead.
yeah.
Um,
And
but I think that's
it's not even just that they feel full too, because you do have that one shot where he sees this sort of like character that shows up very briefly, who seems to be like a hunter, maybe from that island, because he's carrying a bow and arrow that Spike is
yeah,
from. But you see Alpha's view of his face, and
and
his
it's a
face looks like monstrous. Like it looks like,
yeah,
so there is also not just the like we just need food kind of aspect of it, but also like they're attacking because they see the humans as these monstrous entities that they are trying to attack them, and they're trying to basically defend themselves in a
yep.
way
They
or
see us.
kill,
They see the regular humans as a threat, which they are, right?
which they are, but they see them more as like zombies rather than like, people
yeah.
who are cowering and trying not to get killed, which is
Um,
sometimes the case also.
but
Um,
then once he sees a human that's not a threat, that is proactive in I'm not going to hurt you, everything comes down. All of the all of the outer layers come down. Um, you know, from that second meeting on, where he's like, "Oh, I know, I recognize you. You are not a
yeah.
threat to me. You actually have something I want.
Hmm.
Can we be friends?" Right?
Yeah.
Like you see all of that come down, all of the walls come down between these two characters, and it's really like honestly, I think it's really beautiful. Like
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that moment, I mean, genuinely, that moment again, I think my other favorite moment in the film is, because we've discussed the train scene and we've discussed Dr. Ian dance scene at the end where he's pretending to be Satan, which is also fucking incredible. While Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast plays on his speaker, that is amazing. But my other favorite moment of the film is that moment where Dr. Ian is basically saying, "We're going to run out of morphine. And I wish you could just tell me that it's okay to kill you, and this is going to just have to do, because basically I think the humane thing to do here to keep you peaceful forever is to euthanize you."
Yeah.
And at the moment he's about to euthanize him, Samson says moon, as he's been staring at the moon, and we later find out that he was right before he became a zombie, he was like reading a magazine article about the moon. Um, yeah, that I don't know, just man, some of the writing feels just like so much better than anything you usually get in a zombie movie, and it is because it's Alex Garland and he is just a pretty incredible writer.
Yeah.
But I love all of those moments. I don't know. I mean, I think I don't want to just talk about every scene in the movie because it is just sort of becoming us talking about how good everything is.
So I
And
do have one nitpick.
yeah.
I want to kind of, because I think I had, it's the same nitpick I had from the previous movie and still not really fixed.
Hmm.
You see the confidence of Spike when it comes to defeating zombies just waver wildly from scene to scene, and I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I
I had that thought too.
like you see, like, I get Jimmy changing his motivation from scene to scene because he hasn't thought everything through. I get that. But oh man, Spike just, in 28 years later, he goes from like being like, "Oh my God, I was gonna die. I completely messed up," to the next scene taking his mother back out there
Yeah.
with nothing in between,
Yeah.
right? Then at the end of 28 years later, he seems to have this confidence. He's hidden these zombies, then he's running, then he's hidden the zombie, then he's running. He can handle himself around zombies. If a horde comes, he's screwed, but like one or two he can take. And then in the Bone Temple, a zombie gets him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he was surprised. He saw him coming and just froze. And I'm just like, I don't get this character. I don't get this one part of this character and why the movie is doing this over and over again to be like to be like, oh, actually, this kid needs the fingers, or else he's gonna die from the zombies. Like,
Yeah, when when
I
we've seen
just,
that he doesn't necessarily. Yeah, I mean, I think I would say that the first moment of him taking his mother out after being so scared is something you can rationalize as like a desperation kind of thing. Like he might not actually be confident, but he's just so desperate that he has to do it anyway. I'm willing to like stretch my you know disbelief for that. But it is strange. Yeah, it felt weird this movie to go. Wait, I thought he had been like before the Jimmies even got him. I thought he'd been living out there for a full month. It says 28 days later before like he goes back out on his own. It says 28 days later in a little card, and then the Jimmies come and get him. That whole scene kind of happens.
yeah,
So like he's been surviving for a long time. So to me, I'm totally with you. I was a little bit like he still can't shoot the bow and arrow. I mean, what's happening?
he still
I
can't
yeah,
stab. Like
yeah.
what?
I just it was just a little a little off, and I think it felt a little. It feels like it's just sort of there as kind of a cheap, but like it'll be good if the main character's in peril. In terms of like how much the audience is afraid for the main character. Um, uh, but yeah, it feels like it's not true to his arc of like competence and confidence and like the ability for him to survive in the world. So I also didn't really love that. The good thing is that he really isn't the main character in this movie anymore.
No.
So while you do have to deal with that for a second, he is very much a side character to frankly Dr. Ian, Jimmy, and Samson, and maybe even Kelly. Like Kelly is also maybe I'd be interested to see their screen time.
Yeah.
Right up next to each other. I think they're probably right about the same. Um, the only thing I wanted to say that was sort of a little bit of a critique of it, and this isn't really negative. It's just sort of me being like, when you have these films that are such like middle entries in a trilogy. And you have this one was very much like we're jumping right from the last moment in the last film onward. You know, like we're not doing like it's a sequel, but it's kind of later, and we're trying to do our own story. Like these are designed to be 3 films. Alex Garland wrote all the scripts. It's a little hard to know how to like properly rate it in a way because you kind of don't have the ending, you know? And that's like I think you have, especially like you have the little coda at the end where, again, spoilers, you have the Cillian Murphy character come back. He's with his daughter.
Well, can
They
we?
see Spike and Kelly running away from the zombies, and then it kind of goes to black.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah. I
there's.
don't,
I think
until I
there are
see the
two.
third
So
one, I don't know how my feelings about this one will change because of the third one.
I get that, but I do think this movie does a good job of having an end to right the so like the first one was all about the relationship between Spike and his mom.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, the second one is all about um the relationships with with Dr. Ian and Samson and Jimmy and the Fingers, right?
yeah.
That had those both had an entire arc and came to an end.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, so one, I love the troll job by this movie because I was told that Cillian Murphy was the star of like was a lead in this movie, and I was like,
I didn't
oh,
know he was going to be in it
cool.
at all. To be honest, I had no clue.
Oh, I knew someone said Cillian Murphy's going to be all over this movie, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like hysterical that they screwed with everyone and did that.
Yep.
But secondly, I think it was genius because the second I know this is a trilogy. The second Dr. Ian died, my question was, wow, killing the heart of your movie trilogy in the
Mm-hmm.
second one is such a ballsy, crazy move. Who's
Mm-hmm.
going to be the heart of this movie now? And then
Yeah.
immediately they were like, Cillian Murphy's character.
Yeah.
Immediately they were like, don't worry, we know what we're doing. And I was like, cinema. This is such good storytelling. It's such good storytelling to
I
have this Spike
agree.
trilogy lead the way it's been going, and I love it. And I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree with any of that. I think it's more because I do agree. It's like this is a good ending. If we're saying that the main characters are Jimmy and Dr. Ian, this is a good ending for both Jimmy and Dr. Ian in a way. I do. I find the Dr. Ian ending to be like sort of like abrupt and tragic, and I definitely have questions about like what the sort of legacy of like the essentially research that he was doing on the infection will be going forward in the third one, whether that's going to come back or not. So in a way, his story kind of like will maybe continue. We'll see. I think for me, it was more just I I also was hoping for a little bit of more of a coda on Samson, I guess. So that it's like to have both Samson's character and Kelly and Spike all be like those are the ongoing things that are leading into the next one, and then we're also adding in Kelly and Murphy and his daughter. Um, yeah, I'm just sort of standing by like it will unfortunately this is just sort of the nature of endings often sort of are how we derive meaning from what we've seen before. When we get to the end of the third one, I will be able to better know how I feel about this part of their journey, you know? And I think that this is the case where I have nothing but confidence that they're going to land the plane. But I also think that Alex Garland in general is better at premise and setup than he is at third acts historically. At least just in my opinion. And I like a lot of his stuff very much, but I think sometimes he struggles a little bit when he gets to endings. And also, devoid of the Alex Garland part, there's just been a lot of historical trilogies where the third one sucks, and
That's
doesn't,
true.
and
That's
is
true.
just the worst one. So, as a movie fan, you just always have a little bit of worry when you're like, and now we will get to the third one. You've loved one and two. Here we go. You know, here's Rise of Skywalker, and you're like, fuck.
That is my go-to. The ending of this trilogy just sucked.
It
Like,
just
oh
sucked.
man.
Yeah.
Um,
I really liked one and two, and here we are.
but I
Yeah.
mean, okay, you're right. I can't get my hopes up too much. Like, I really tried to
Mhm.
not get my hopes up too much on 28 Years Later at the Bone Temple because of how much I love 28 Years Later.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah, and I
but
feel like
like,
I don't want to keep riding that high and just keep being like, there's no way the quality will go down in any way. There can't be. You know, they're perfect at
yeah,
this. When it's like, no, uh, no. Sadly, we have seen many examples of quality going down in third acts. Third acts are hard. I think they're historically they're the hardest thing to do in a film. So I don't even know. Do we have a name of the third movie? Do we have anything about a release date or anything at all? I mean,
it is no. We
no.
know nothing about the third movie. I
Okay.
believe it's already. I believe they filmed all three at once.
Oh wow.
So I believe it is filmed. I just like based on the what has already happened. I would assume it's early next year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's probably right. Um, which again, maybe we get Zombie January again next year, and this tradition continues. I would love it. You know,
We can only hope.
we can only
So
hope. But we
28
should
years
probably.
later, the Bone Temple, amazing. I think we should move on to We Bury the Dead,
Yeah.
which is a very interesting. I had a great time. I love this movie. I also acknowledge that it is very flawed.
Yeah. I think you liked this film more than I did, even acknowledging that there are flaws in it. But I think this is a really fascinating film. Do you also want to start off on this one? Because I think that starting with maybe a slightly more positive view of it
Oh,
is
so
better.
I thought you were like I liked it. I don't think I liked it as much as you did, but now I'm starting to sense that you didn't really like it that much.
No. I think I just want to get an idea of what you think the flaws are, and to think. I think
Okay,
I
okay,
might think that there are more flaws than you do. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm like totally down on this because
okay.
I
So
just
what I want to start with the positive because what I thought was the most interesting
mm,
was how they treated the zombies. And it really did feel like each individual zombie had their own purpose and desires. And I thought that was really, really interesting, right? Like you had the one guy, the first zombie that we meet. It really seemed like he woke up and he just wanted to be with his car,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
he just that was what he loved doing in his life, and he just got up and he just wanted to be in the garage with his car.
yeah.
And
He was covered in
that's where they
motor
find
oil,
him.
I think,
Yeah,
too,
yeah. Like
which
it did
design
look
wise looked
like
very cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
hmm
Um, you had the father of the family who woke up and he just wanted to be buried with his family, wanted to give his family some kind of ending.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, I thought I've never seen that, and like they kind of talked about it of like they start off docile, but then they get more dangerous as they get hungrier.
Right.
They did
Right.
have a like have a little bit of a conversation around that, but it's not even the docileness that I think is interesting. It is the actually this is all I want, right?
hmm
I want this, and we never saw desire from zombies before beyond just brains.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought that was so cool. I thought that was so interesting. That is that premise was the main reason why I was like, I want you to see this. We need to talk about this movie.
Yeah. Well, we should say brains, or in the one case of the Bone Temple, drugs. Uh,
Yeah.
for one zombie, but primarily it's been brains. Yeah, so I think this is what you're describing is the absolute strength of the movie and why I like the film overall. Like I think I would, if somebody was like, I'm looking for an interesting zombie movie to watch, I would recommend this to people. You know,
Yeah.
if you're a fan of the genre and you want to see somebody do something that isn't like the other stuff that's been done, this is a great recommend. Um, Basically, I think that the premise is the strongest thing, and we should just sort of let people know if they are have not seen this and want to sort of be convinced to see it without maybe spoiling too much. Uh, the premise of this film immediately is that off of the coast of Tasmania in southern Australia, the little island in southern Australia, the U.S. has accidentally set off this weapon of mass destruction, which is
I
kind
don't
of,
think
I
it
think
was
it's sort of,
accidentally. I
you
don't
don't
think it
think
was
it's accident?
accidentally.
It's
I think
that
it
it's a
was they
little
needed to test
implied.
this.
I think it's a little implied that you're right, but I like that it's. I like. First of all, I gotta just say, I like any movie where it's made internationally because this was an Australian film, very much supported by Screen Australia in a lot of the funding for it. Um, I like an international movie that these days is just like the U.S. is the villain, by the way, right now to the
Yeah.
rest of the world. I don't know if y'all need that spelled out for you, but like in your films, it's some kind of vague Middle Eastern thing or like vague Russian thing, but in the rest of the world's films, you're the
It's the
villain.
United States. Yep.
So yes, there is a basically weapon of mass destruction that's been set off. It's sort of similar to like an EMP, but it basically just sends this pulse that immediately destroys all the brain activity in everyone, and 500,000 people are immediately killed by this WMD. And Daisy Ridley, her husband was down on Tasmania when this happened, and she is part of a volunteer unit of people who are going down there to retrieve bodies and identify bodies, basically. And she, of course, obviously desperately wants to find her husband. So I love, and then they also then set up right after that. So we're not into spoiler territory yet. This is like the first or second scene that some of these people have started waking up. And no one says the word zombie, which, to be honest, maybe somebody should have been like zombies, you know. But whatever, it's a minor, it's a minor thing. Uh, in general, though, I think that's an amazing new like zombie lore thing. You know, like
Yeah.
zombies have just always been either uh, the very traditional. There's no more room left in hell, so the dead have to walk the earth. So religious context or disease. You
Yeah.
know, so this being like a man-made disaster, a man-made weapon of mass destruction is a really cool setup for a zombie film. And I think the other innovation is what you were talking about, which is that there's a character in the middle of the movie played a soldier who I'm just looking it up now because I don't know this actor, but I thought he was really good. Mark Cole Smith, the guy he plays Riley, who's the soldier we meet in the middle of the film. He at some point I think says the people who coming back are the people who have unfinished business. So that's sort of the other cool idea of the film is that it's basically taking more like ghost rules and applying them to zombies. The whole unfinished business thing and also ghosts. Actually, I think that also kind of fits along with the ghost lore in general. The idea of like at first they come back and they're kind of docile, they just have unfinished business, but the longer they can't do that, the longer they have unfinished business, the more hostile they get in a lot of
Yeah.
ghost stories as well. So I really liked that. That sort of like mixture of like we're kind of transposing this other monster thing onto zombies, and it's really effective whenever they do it. You know that moment that you mentioned in the garage, very effective. And we should say, I think to me, I think the best moments of this film are with that soldier character who shows up and you find out we're now going to spoiler territory for sure. Basically, this soldier character shows up Daisy Ridley has been traveling with this other guy Clay, who is just part of like the group of people who are cleaning up. Um, they like escape from sort of the soldiers. You know, not really an escape; they're volunteers, but they get away from the soldiers to go try to find her husband because they're in this part of the island that's still like burning, basically, and sectioned off. Nobody's supposed to go there yet. The soldier finds them. The other guy she's with, the soldier says he ran off when he's sort of interrogating him. And I really like that setup because you're sort of like, we don't know if we trust this guy yet. Like, what's going on? And the
Oh,
tension is
I did not
high.
trust him for a second.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely not. Like, yeah, yeah. Because, like,
Which is why
well,
this is also my favorite part because the tension is
yeah,
really good in this whole part.
the tension is so good as he's driving her back to the.
It's like a
I can't even
bed
remember
and
if it was like his
breakfast.
house or a bed and breakfast. Yeah,
It
yeah,
said it
yeah,
was a bed and breakfast, but I think it might also just be where his like, because I think he says that his wife went to go visit her parents. So I think it's like his wife's parents run this bed and breakfast,
yeah.
but this
I
is
think
where
that's
his
it.
wife was when the
And
disaster happened.
just like
So
the second he shows up, and you kind of just go like, why is a soldier alone?
hmm
Everything else is like people are in large groups, people are in twos, people are in threes.
yeah,
And immediately when you see this guy alone, you go, "Oh, this isn't right. Like
right,
this is fucked up. This is not going to end well." And then he's like, "I'm going to interrogate you each individually." And then he comes back and is like, "Clay got away." And it's like I was definitely like, "Okay, I'm pretty sure you're not just dumb."
yeah,
Right? Like that
yeah,
was a possibility in my head. It's like, is he an idiot or is he have an ulterior motive? And then because this is really like I think Zach Hilditch, who written and directed by um I think as a visual storyteller, Zach Hilditch is very good.
yeah,
Right? I think this movie is very well directed. It's shot by a guy named Steve Annis, and the cinematography in this movie is phenomenal.
hmm
Um, I think
yeah,
really like in terms of like movie making, excellent movie making.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and
A lot of
like
stunning
I
shots.
really even liked the idea of Riley's character of like his wife was pregnant and now she's back.
hmm
They don't know what to do with the kid, but he can't give up on her, so he's also not giving up on any of the other Walking Dead,
Right, right.
right? Because if he gives up on them, then he's giving up on her. I liked all of that. All of
Yeah,
that was very cool, very
yeah.
interesting. Had me at the edge of my seat the second they pulled up to the bed and breakfast. Um, the
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 tense dinner
tension of
scene.
was so
Yeah.
good. It was so
hmm
good.
Yeah.
The main issue I have with this movie is the dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah. We
I
can get into
think
some negatives now, I feel like. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think the dialogue is not great. It's just
hmm
this. It's obvious that Zach Hilditch is who also wrote it. It's not what he's best at. It needed a second pair of eyes, and I think if this was a bigger blockbuster movie that was expecting to do big business, somebody would have been like, "Hey, we need to hand the script over to someone who's a little bit better at this." Um,
hmm
because this premise is amazing. Like a lot of things about this movie are amazing, except for this part.
Yeah.
Um, it's
Yeah.
it's very clunky. It's very overly um, like when 28 years later is so good at visual storytelling.
Mm.
This one tried to over explain everything,
Yeah.
and I
100%.
think did it pretty poorly. Um, I especially like did not love the like don't both have the Daisy Ridley flashbacks of
hmm
her and her husband having these arguments but right before
hmm
he leaves, and also then have Daisy Ridley explain to Clay about all of the arguments. Like you just we just
But
saw it. Like
exactly. Yes.
what are you doing? Um
Yes. And
I think in general the flashbacks were super clunky. They really brought me out of the story. I did not
hmm
like them at all.
hmm
Um
hmm
those
We're
could
hitting on
honestly
everything.
all have just been taken out, and you just have a moment of dialogue with Daisy Ridley and Clay, um, where she's kind of telling him about all of this, and then you see their relationship then makes more sense because
Right.
she's confiding in him, because he's being a friend. Um, but that was like my main part of like just every time we did a flashback, I was like, we don't need this. We
Yeah.
don't need
Yeah.
this.
Well, here's actually what I will say. I think we do potentially need a flashback. I think you're right that it looks like you don't need both things. I think a flashback could be good, but this is actually where I'll say my feeling about his writing being not his strength. Because I think we both, generally speaking, this is our opinion of the movie and overall is like amazing premise, a person who had really strong visual ideas. To just quickly finish that thought on the scene with the soldier in the bed and breakfast. Like it ends with Daisy Ridley, like he's basically trying to like hunt Daisy Ridley down to sort of like stop her, I think, from getting away. And she ends up killing him and gets to his car and turns on the headlights, and in the
Oh,
headlights, his wife has woken up now and is
yeah,
standing there
yeah.
holding her pregnant belly, and that image is like, damn, fuck, like if
Haunting.
he haunting
Haunting. Yeah.
and tragic, and if he just stayed alive, if he just like not brought Daisy Ridley here, like if he would have at least gotten another moment with his wife, like all of that incredible. But again, it's like the visual ideas in there are awesome. Another thing I love, there was a scene where he has Daisy Ridley get chased by this zombie, and they get chased into a bus, and the entire bus chase is shot through like the top of the bus. You see like the broken windows of the bus, and you're just following them along through that. I'm like, dude, the visual stuff. It's like you had this great visual idea, but I just don't think he totally has the writing chops to pull it off. And to me, it's not just the dialogue. It's like those flashback scenes, every one of those is an opportunity to show us something like interesting about this couple. Like what makes these two people who they are? What's an idiosyncratic thing that we could show people about this couple? And instead, he's like, I'm going to show you their wedding. I'm going to show you them trying to get pregnant. I'm going to show you their wedding again. And then I'm going to show you because I'm trying to hold back this reveal until later, and it's really all I could come up with for anything interesting about this couple. I'm going to show you them having a generic argument before he leaves that you don't
Yeah.
know what it is. And then later you'll find out that she had cheated on him, etc. And like that, again, that dialogue scene on its own in a vacuum is good. Cool. She cheated on him. When she finds his body at the end, he had another girl with him, so he's cheating as well. That's good. That's interesting. But every other flashback is just like the most generic thing that applies to every married couple. Like
Yeah.
almost every married couple ever had a fucking wedding and is
Had
maybe
a
interested in
fun
having
wedding. Yeah.
children, Like it doesn't say anything about them. It's just ugh, So like every one of those was just a wasted opportunity for me to like
Yeah.
get to make these characters interesting and make them somebody we really care about. And like you're saying, the one time that he actually does that is with dialogue at the end, which is why I get you being like, just cut all the flashbacks. But to me, I'm like, that's where you need somebody to rewrite those flashbacks. Because by the end of the movie, we still really don't know almost anything about Daisy Ridley. And she's not giving a performance that has enough like pathos or anything to it to like make her super interesting. Like she's not super angry all the time, she's not like super sad all the time. She's just sort of, I need to go get my husband. Just like focused on that mission. She's a little bit too much of a blank slate. So
But
that again is
I
the
think she
writing,
is
I think.
going through like, and I think this is like, this is another thing that like, I think she goes straight from denial,
Mm-hmm.
right? No, he might be back. Denial to acceptance with nothing in between,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like
Agreed.
you don't
Agreed.
see the five stages of grief with her. Which would have been really interesting and like something I would have liked to have seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe one scene with her being like, I need to find my husband, and somebody else being like, just why? He's dead.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're gonna get there eventually. Just be patient. And then her like losing her shit, right? Like give me an anger scene. Give
Totally.
me
Totally.
um which you just don't see at all. And I think it's just either it's bad editing where it was edited out or it's bad writing.
Yeah.
Um
It's hard to say because they do again. I think it's bad writing because I think they have a scene where it's like her and her the other guy Clay that she's sort of with for a while, played by Brenton Thwaites, who I think does a pretty good job as well. Like I think all the actors are generally doing a pretty good job. It's just like I don't think they have that much to do sometimes. But
yeah.
there is a scene with them after their first day where they're in this like hotel where everybody's kind of like trying to unwind and like drink and stuff. And she does say like, what if my husband came back? And I think he goes like, and what? Or something. Which like prompts her to maybe have the scene that you're talking about of like this is the next thing to write would be her actually discussing the theme, you know? Because there is a
Yeah.
cool theme here of like if you have a loved one who is definitely dead, but like they're not themselves anymore, but they might be back in sort of like zombie pet cemetery ish form, do you still want to keep them alive? I mean,
And
that's,
and could you find some closure
yeah,
if you left on bad terms, right?
yeah.
Like
Could there
could you
still be
find
enough
some of that?
humanity? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like all of that, yeah. Like if you have a loved one, to relate it more to the real world and less other zombie movies, like if you have a loved one who basically is brain dead, but they're being kept alive in a hospital, like is this something where you are the type of person who wants to keep them alive because they're still technically alive? Do you think they should be allowed to sort of like, die if they, especially if they didn't have a DNR? Like this is like a complicated thing for people, in our society. And this is a theme that like is set up well to explore. And even the idea of like her getting to him and being like, we have unfinished business, you know? And so he should come back, right? Because we have unfinished business. Like we were fighting. Our marriage is the unfinished business. And the fact that he doesn't come back should be a moment where we get a little bit more of like her being heartbroken at the fact that actually no, to him, the marriage wasn't even important enough to be unfinished business. Like he's not coming back in her mind because the marriage was over.
Yeah.
And for her, it was unfinished business because she still thought they could save it. And like, there's not enough time spent in that hotel room with her just getting to fucking act for a second and like just
Yeah.
really lay into like the grief of it and for the audience to really understand that.
Yeah. She needed and she needed some time to chew the scenery. And I think Daisy Ridley, like I've only seen her in underutilized roles, right? Like
Yeah,
I think she was underutilized in the Star Wars movies. I think she's underutilized in this movie. I am curious to see her at least try to chew that scenery and to do all of that. Also, how did Clay get there? That was super confusing.
I did laugh out loud at the theater when he showed up. I think I went,
Like,
"Ha! What the fuck? Like, why is he?
yeah,
How did he know?
like
Yeah, yeah."
like how did he just walk the whole way? Like that
He
made
walked the whole way.
absolutely
He
no sense
also
to me.
knew which room in the resort to check.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like
It's just a lot of like, all right. I guess he's back. Whatever.
yeah,
Um, you know, so yeah, there's stuff I think between the dialogue, between the sort of bad flashback scenes. There's just stuff where it's like he's not quite a good enough writer to really land the plane on this one, and um, the other thing I did want to bring up has to do with the actual ending, which is as they're driving back up, um, they find the wife again of the soldier who was pregnant, and she is no longer pregnant, and they go off into a field and they find that she has given birth to a baby who is not infected. And it's supposed to be this, like, she now gets to be a mother because we had that one flashback where you saw that she couldn't get pregnant for a second. And, like, again, conceptually, it's good. It's fine. It's like a decent
No,
ending
well,
to the story.
I actually believe the one important fact that came in those flashbacks is
Mm-hmm.
at one point she was pregnant.
Yeah.
She
Yeah, yeah.
lost the baby.
She lost the baby. Yeah.
And so now having this, I think also clunky storytelling.
It's a little clunky. And it's just like that should have if
It's like,
that's where you're ending.
thank God, thank God
Mhm.
this baby of the man who tried to kill me is here. Like, what? Like,
It's just, again, it's something where it's like, if that's truly where you're ending, you needed to explore that relationship between her and her husband more, and specifically the moment of them trying to get pregnant and how important that was to her.
yeah.
You need to make it clear that that was like, maybe that's actually the thing that they were fighting over. Maybe
And
her
maybe
husband like
that's the
didn't
thing
want a
that to
baby or
her,
something.
maybe that's the thing that to her is unfinished business, that he didn't feel that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That they lost this baby, and to him, he was just sort of like, okay, I didn't really want to be a father anyway, or something,
yeah.
along those lines. I think that would be interesting. But it kind of just felt like a, but hey, don't be too sad for her. She has baby now, like, I don't know. It just felt a little clunky. I also,
Yeah.
we gotta say that I really feel bad for this director, this writer director, because it is just genuinely unfortunate that in some of the inspiration for his film, clearly, uh, he he was like thinking, I think, about 28 Days Later a little bit. I think there's some little moments that feel kind of 28 Days Later ish. In particular, there's the like plot point of they have to go past the burning city, just like in 28 Days Later. Manchester is on fire. They drive past
Yeah.
Manchester, and what do they find right after the burning city? They find the soldiers in 28
Yeah.
Days Later, and then there's the whole point where they get past the burning city in this film, and they find the one soldier, and then the soldier becomes the real danger for a little bit, just like in 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
So, like,
I,
if it is so unfortunate for this man that not only did Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, like, right as I'm sure this film was in production, resurrect that franchise and make it like hugely popular again, but they also ended their movie with a zombie having a baby that wasn't infected.
yep.
Like, damn, that sucks for this dude. Damn. Like, he
Yeah.
was like, oh, I got this one cool idea that nobody's done, is that a zombie's gonna have a baby that's not infected. And then Alex Garland was like, nope, beat you to it by 6 months,
Beat you 10 months ahead of time. Yeah.
Like, oh, that really sucked. And it was just like, it was hard sometimes to not think about those influences. And it definitely makes the ending feel a little bit more like, I do not think that he knew of that happening beforehand. I think that this is just
No,
a great minds think alike thing.
there had to have been at least a conversation of like, they saw 28 years later and was like, do we need to do some rewrites? Like, that conversation happened, and they were probably like, we're out of money.
Yeah.
We let's just make the movie we made.
This is,
Like,
this
yeah.
is an independent production from like Australia, largely funded by
Yeah.
Screen Australia's like government subsidies for film. Like, we're not going back for reshoots.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just an unfortunate side note for that guy. It should not affect the way people watch the movie. I am sure some people will watch the movie and be like, "What the fuck? Didn't we just see this?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I still want to recommend this though. I still just think, like,
Oh,
even after
100%.
all those
If
things we
you
said.
if you like 28 Years Later or 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, I'm assuming if you liked one, you like the other one.
Mhm.
Watch this movie. You will have a good time.
Yeah.
It is, you know, it's a really good, well-crafted movie
Mhm.
that has its flaws, like a lot of movies.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that are interesting to talk about, which is why we wanted to talk about it.
Exactly, yeah. And it's a film, by a person who like I think shows enough with this movie to make me go like I will absolutely go see the next thing that this guy does, especially if I see he has a co-writer. Uh,
Yeah.
you know,
Or just as if whatever he directs, I want to see it next.
yeah,
Like I do.
yeah. Because I think there's a lot of visual skill. Like the pacing is good. There's a lot of stuff that's really good about this movie. And I also
Yeah.
just the last little bit that I want to say is even before you get to anything about people coming back to life, just those first couple scenes of them going into houses where this horrible, thing has happened and finding like the bodies of families is like terrifying. It's
Yeah.
really
Oh,
like
it's
it's
really good.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's really effective. Like so, this is a person who like definitely I think knows how to make something that feels like uh, heart wrenching and visceral, and just had some struggles with like writing the relationship aspect. I think particularly.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'd say I don't know. Do we want to give out letter grades for any of this? I don't know if I have
Oh,
one
I mean,
prepped. You know?
I 28 years later is an A.
Yeah, yeah,
This is a B, right? This is a solid
yeah,
B.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's
I
a
would
solid
I
B
would
movie.
recommend it to anybody who likes zombie movies.
Hmm.
You will have a
Hmm.
good time watching this movie. Uh, my wife will not have a good time watching this movie. Like,
Yeah,
guarantee it.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, yeah, no, the especially as a January release, where classically dumpuary, you're gonna get like your hope is that maybe you get a horror film that's like a good B movie. This is what I thought was gonna actually be the highlight of the month.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
without Bone Temple there, this would probably be the thing that I would be standing here being like, "Hey, dude, not a good month traditionally." I saw Primate. That was pretty bad overall. Cool guy in a monkey
This was
suit, but
pretty good.
like, hey, this is pretty good. It's
Yeah.
what did you see that movie Underwater with me when that came
No.
out? That was like if that was a good January release. It was just like this is a good B movie. There's nothing super wrong about this. I think the better example for us is like the Escape Room movie that came out. I think that was a January
Oh
one
yeah,
where we're just like, yeah, man, that was fun. Like I had a good
that was fun.
time.
I think this is better than Escape Room though. Like this is more interesting,
Definitely,
better than Escape Room.
it
Yeah.
has a lot more to say. It has a lot more that you could think about for sure than Escape Room does. Escape Room is just like a
Okay.
silly thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I actually gotta go. So
okay. All right. Well, love to everyone. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back soon to
thank you,
discuss
listener.
more stuff, more shit. Bye.